Mark, if you go back to the beginning, during the offseason, I think I told you that I thought this would either be a special season or Harbaugh's last season. And that too many things were new, too many things were reinvented, and it was systemic, right? They weren't just trying a new offense. And so maybe you get off to a slow start while the defense is playing well, but you're not scoring enough points, and then the offense clicks at the end. Everything was new. With Maurice Linguist leaving to become the head coach at Buffalo, seven assistant coaching changes on this staff, new quarterbacks, new schemes on both sides of the ball. And the new coaches we hired, we're not just talking, I mean, these were different people. I mean, nobody on this staff is older than 45. It's one of the youngest staffs in the Power Five. So this was either going to be a great reboot or a desperate grasping of straws that would implode, in obvious fashion. Now, I thought the odds trended heavily towards the latter, unfortunately, but I always did give you that option from the very beginning that we could see this thing kind of become lightning in a bottle. And I said, if that happens, you're looking at a season similar to 1985. That's the last time we had a coach make this kind of adjustments to the program after a disappointing season. And Bo did it after a 6-6 year in 84 with a lot of injuries and didn't have great culture and leadership, just really reinvented the program. The next year they were not in the top 20 to start the year for the first time since Bo's first season in 1969. And they ended up being number 2 in the country against what a lot of people thought was an impossible schedule that year. Notre Dame, South Carolina, Maryland were all ranked in the preseason top 20. That was the non-conference schedule before he even got into Big Ten play. And Jimmy was the quarterback of that team. And I think that what you've seen this year, thankfully, is that the former happened. And to show you that it was real is that it did not happen like instantly, and then they just kind of like coasted off of that. This has been a gradual buildup. And you've seen as they get accustomed to one another, the schemes, the execution, the leadership. And so this has been a build that, we're only 2 months away from Michigan getting, outplayed in the second half by Rutgers at home. And now this thing has coalesced and it's catalyzed, and they're the hottest team in the country right now. They're playing the best football of the Jim Harbaugh era. I mean, this is the best football that a Michigan team has played for a long stretch since 2006 under Lloyd Carr, when they started 11-0 before losing to you guys in an epic 1-2 game at the end of the year. So we're going back 15 years now. It's the first outright Big Ten championship for the program in 18 years, 2003. First Big Ten title of any kind since 2004. And what I also find fascinating about this is it's also come full circle. Jimmy was on this trajectory his second year in 2006 or 2016, remember. And then that year ended with disappointment. And the disappointments were they lost to Iowa, they lost to Ohio State, and they've already so this has kind of been the 2016 revenge tour. They beat Iowa, they beat Ohio State, and both those losses were just beyond heartbreaking in the final seconds. And they dominated both of those teams. And now, you remember the bowl game that 2016 team played in, it was the Orange Bowl as a heavy favorite against Florida State, and they lost that game straight up. So there's a lot of serendipity to what is happening here. And on a personal level, as a fan, a lifelong fan, I never thought we'd be here ever again. I mean, I was broken, damaged. I mean, I had kind of become a nattering Martha of a fan. And now I've literally witnessed the college football equivalent of Lazarus come forth. I mean, we were 2-4 at this time last year, canceling games. We had guys opting out, guys getting hurt, guys not wanting to play, awful culture. And now here we are in the college football playoff. And I mean, it's the first time in the history of the college football playoff, Mark, a team went from unranked to being in the playoff. And it's a team that was unranked in the preseason AP poll and now has a shot to win the national championship.